Howdy folks, welcome back to the garage. Today's project is trailer lights. Now if you have a trailer and you use it year-round, any kind of trailer really, you use it year-round like I do, and you live in the Rust Belt like I do, you are inevitably going to work on trailer lights almost once a year, sometimes more. So some of my trailer lights crapped out on me last time I used it, and I decided I needed to replace some of them. So I have two tail lights, and I'm going to replace the marker lights. The marker lights are working, but the sun is very hard on plastic, and it's really faded the amber ones on my front, the marker side. So I thought at the time I replace these, I'll do those as well. So let's get started. So what I got here is these. Now if I can get that out, I think it's a bit too tight yet. I may have to work on it a bit more. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. So the lights that I bought, the tail lights that I bought, come with this sort of rubber grommet affair, and the light goes in there like so, and that is supposed to hold that in there tight. I don't know, it was the only half decent looking ones that they had at the store, so we're going to give it a shot anyway. So my thought was, supposed to cut out, they give you a little sort of template. It's not really a template, it's just a drawing of the dimensions you need to fit that rubber in there. So my thought was, I put it in that piece of channel, and then when that's in there like that, it's somewhat protected, because as you may have noticed if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm a little hard on things sometimes, so that might help us out. I'm probably just going to end up catching my shin on it all the time. That's more than likely what's going to happen. But anyway, I started this. I got one done. I got to kind of carve it out a little bit. I just used a hole saw and then a zip cut to join the two into that slot. So it's not exact. It's a little tight yet. I got to grind it out a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and make a second one. Then I can kind of grind the two together. Alright, so there's the little drawing they give you. They tell you you need to be 4 1/4 center to center, and then you want a 1 1/4 radius. So I laid that out here. That's 4 1/4 center to center. Now 1 1/4 radius, so I set my little compass divider thing, and I can do that radius like that, just to give me a visual. And I'll do the same on the other side. So being that that's an 1 1/4 radius, the diameter now is going to be 2 1/2. So I don't have a 2 1/2 hole saw, but I have a 2 3/8. Which I believe is close enough, because generally when you use a hole saw it kind of wobbles a little anyway, and it ultimately it drills an oversized hole no matter what. So I believe that'll get us close enough. Now I could probably plasma cut that out, but if I do that I'm liable to screw it up, because my eyes are terrible. And I probably won't be able to follow that little line. I probably could do it, but I thought, bugger it, I'll use the hole saw. That's going to be fairly close, and that'll give me a nice, I think you probably want a fairly nice radius so that fits in there nice. Because basically that goes in that slot, and then when you jam the light in, it just kind of like works on compression. I'm not completely sold on these lights just yet, but we're gonna give it a shot because that's what we got. So I'm gonna finish laying that out and I'll drill the holes and I'll get it ready. I'll be back in a sec. All right, so hopefully you can see that. I hole sawed out the 2 holes, and then I scribed a line from radius to radius, same on that side, and I'll try and carefully zip cut those out of there and join them up. And then hopefully we'll just have to do a little bit of buffing with our die grinder there to get that rubber grommet to fit in there nice, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so there's what we had before. That was welded up under the back. I cut that off. And that light goes in there and it kind of clips in. This hard plastic broke. And it kept falling out on me. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try that. I'm not completely sold on this whole compression thing yet, but maybe if it's rubber, it'll be better. I don't know. Rubber doesn't like the sun either. Rubber won't last. But anyway, we're going to try that. That's all they had. So I kind of did this in a hurry. I didn't do a very good job of cutting that hole out when I did it. So I built that trailer. The sun's blasting in. It's kind of messing with my lighting here, but anyway, I built that trailer during COVID and just kind of took my time because I had nothing else to do anyway. And then all of a sudden, the boys phone me up and say, hey man, the restrictions are letting up. We can have a few tractor pulls. So I kind of had to, naturally the lighting was the last thing I did, so I kind of rushed through that last wee bit of this trailer fabrication because we were getting ready to start a few tractor pulls. So anyway, I didn't do a real good job of it, and I'm going to try and hopefully do a better job this time. So I'm going to weld that on and see how that fits up. Okay, so this is now the next day. I got my channel iron brackets mounted here for these tail lights, and I mounted the new marker lights, which I almost immediately regretted changing those. The ones that were on there were working fine. They're the old style that you put the little tiny bulbs in, and I don't really like those. The bulbs always seem to shake loose. They don't seem to stay tight in there. The lenses were also faded really bad. I know you can buy new lenses, and maybe I should have done that, because every single one of those marker lights that I took off, the old ones, the bolts broke off naturally. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails, and I kind of lost my motivation for the day, so I left it there. This was more about trying out these new taillights, because I had crappy taillights. Anyway, I'm going to attempt here to now mount these new sort of rubber compression type ones that I bought. And hopefully now with a new attitude, it'll go better. Not sure that I'm completely sold on that. Alright, I got that sucker in. It's not that easy to get in. It's, as you probably saw me struggling there, it's a little tricky to get that. It's sort of how that grommet affair fits in there. It's kind of a groove around it. And you know, obviously you want it to be a tight fit, otherwise it's just going to pop out. So I think I gave you feed. There's lots over there. Away you go. I don't know what it is about this trailer. He just kind of loves jumping around on it and crawling underneath. I'd painted this yesterday, and the silly bugger walked right under the paint and brushed a bunch of black paint all over his back. But anyway, I think as I said before, it seems key how carefully you cut out that slot. It's got to be a good fit. Otherwise, if it's too tight, the gasket just kind of rolls and you can't get it to fit in there properly, which was what was happening on this side. That's why I stopped and moved over to there. I think I might have to take the die grinder and carve that one out just a tiny, tiny bit so I can get it. The gasket keeps rolling over on me. I think it's too tight yet. So I'm going to try and get a better fit on that. Alright, so I finally got it in. I had to carve a little bit more out of that slot. It's very key, the size of that slot's got to be just right. Otherwise, it's too tight, it won't fit in. It just rolls the gasket over. And obviously if it's too big, it's just going to flop around, and it's based on compression. The plastic part of the light's somewhat tapered, and as you force it in, it squeezes out that gasket that's supposed to hold it there. It feels solid. I'm not totally sold on this yet. We'll see how this works. I guess it's kind of cool if you happen to hit something, it would just pop out rather than bust it, but I don't know, that remains to be seen. We'll see about that. So now all the lights are installed, I just gotta wire them up. And you would think that I decided to do this project, I would have had supplies, which I did not. Didn't have any connectors, or not enough. Didn't even have any heat shrink. And I probably could have got by without heat shrink if I needed to, but since I've got time, I'm gonna go ahead and heat shrink all the splices, just to, hopefully they'll last a little longer. So that's going to be a bit tedious. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to test these out. All right, guys, it's wired. I got the truck hooked up, and I'm gonna go plug it in and keep my fingers crossed that I did it right. You're gonna know before I do. That's the beauty of having this videotaping this. I'll be able to watch the camera since I don't have a helper to push the brake light for me. But anyway, let's plug it in and see what goes.
Corey Connors and Richmond Hills Taylor Pentland for 6 shots off the lead at 72. Oakmont lived up to its reputation with a scoring average of about 74.6. On course still relatively soft for rain and moderate.
Beauty!
On dry side 9078.
Yeah, that's not a very good ground. All right, I think we got it. I could see the one flasher through the back. That one I couldn't see, but I'm going to assume we're good. I'll watch the footage and I'll know. So, this is where we came out. I'm really liking the marker lights are much nicer. The old ones were bulb style. Those are LEDs. They're nice and bright now. And there's the yellow one on the front. So, nobody has any excuses for running into me now. So all I gotta do now is, I didn't heat shrink any of my connections, just in case there was an issue. So I gotta do the heat shrinking and then zip tie the wires up so they're not hanging down. And that project is finished. Alright folks, there it is. It's all done. All the lights work, brake lights work, flashers work, new marker lights, ready to go. Kind of been dreading doing that. I knew it needed to be done. Kind of in between jobs right now, so at least now it's out of the way and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I know it probably wasn't all that interesting, but that's the way she goes sometimes. Not every job you do is going to be real cool. But in any event, I think I'm going to get this out of here, and the next thing I got to do is take that down because I keep banging into it. So I'm going to do that right away. Anyway guys, as always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.